Oh, welcome. Here we are. Let me get this on. So, this phase is nearly over. We are into the deepest, darkest depths of where we're going to go with this year. And we're on the end, the outward movement of the energies, that which has been influencing our lives since for the last 3 years, but definitely since January. And yes, the outer externalized reality has been coronavirus, has been everything that has impacted in this world. The amount of changes that has happened in our lives has been uncomparable to anything that we have lived through so far. But this full moon, as it enters tomorrow and as it's drawing up and out within the fullest point tomorrow and then the 2 days afterwards, this is really embodying the peak of the mountain. So if you imagine this year has been a hike, a hard hike. Sometimes it's been a really beautiful view and we've really enjoyed it. Sometimes we've had good company. Sometimes we've been on our own. Sometimes we've received new perspectives on life. We're literally higher as we go, but it's been tough. It's tough climbing this mountain. And Capricorn is the summation, the consummation of all that has been arising in the year. And in any astrological zodiacal cycle, Capricorn is the peak of the mountain. It's where in the ascent up this challenging mountain, we have to surrender to our knees, to let go of all that is ego, that is the identity of who we once were, and let that go. And on a deeper level, we're letting go of the identity of our personality to really be the soul that we really are, living through our life. So whatever you've been growing, whatever you've been nurturing since the start of this year, since things slowed down, and if you cast your mind back to kind of the end of March and April, when there was nothing else to do, we were all being inspired actually, because we only speed up, internally when we slow down externally. So this process of slowing us down is so important, and it's been important through this year so that we can recognize our habits and our patterns. We can see where we need to re-establish our community, our networks, who we want to work with, who are our friends, how our relationships with our family need to be restored, where communication needs to be fuller. It's helped us understand what we want to learn about and what we want to share with the world. It's helped us understand what we want our homes to be, how we want to belong in this world. Who do we, what is our community that we're even working in? And some of us have to move. Some of us are in the right place and need to actually work there. We've known for a while this is where we need to be, this is who we need to be working for and with, but actually going and doing it and self-expressing, being all that you are. So in this entire year cycle, we've at some level worked out what we love, worked out little bits of who we are and what we're trying to subdue, and which bits we want to really bring out into the world. So the polarity that we're working on today is Capricorn to Cancer. So Capricorn is the mountain goat that climbs the mountain, surrenders to its knees, surrenders that ego, and becomes a unicorn, the soul, living in the physical. It's got hooves, but it's magical. It's got a cool horn, right? And then Cancer is this physical body, right? It's our belonging, it's our family, it's the earth, it's nature, it's the environment, right? So this polarity is really asking us, like, all of our potential, which is Cancer, our potential, our DNA, our where we've been born, our family, our parents, all that our soul has brought with it into this lifetime, all of this potential, and it's taken it up to the peak of its possibility. It's what is possible with all that is there, because each of us as individuals can't do everything, right? We all have unique gifts, we have unique skills, and with those unique gifts and those skills, we are trying to just stand in our own light with all of that which isn't that comfortable, looking and then integrating all of those bits of ourselves that we wouldn't like to accept are who we are, whether they're emotions, whether they're thought patterns, and really take all of that we have with us on this journey, the skills, even the challenges that we have faced, the really painful experience that we have experienced, and what we've learned from that, and how we've embodied it, how we've grown from it. And when we've united this personality part of ourselves with all that it is, with its lumps and its bumps and its niggles and its jiggles, and all of the emotional stuff that is uncomfortable, and all the mental stuff, and when we've got all that together, and we can say, hey, actually, it's all divinely, perfectly imperfect, and we can access our higher mind and rise above it and use it for all of its, wobbles and niggles and jiggles and sadness and anger and ways that you naturally see the world, experience the world, and your gift that you have within you. And you take that and you merge it with this divine force, this magnetic force, which is you. And with that you-ness, you climb the damn mountain that you've been scared of climbing. Because when you stand in who you are, you accept all of those bits that you don't want to accept. When you start to integrate the traumas that even our parents have gone through and passed on to us, you don't have to go to a psychoanalyst necessarily to clear that shift. It's an acceptance and a working through and a transformation of it through love, through acceptance, and a merging of this faculty of the mind. Now, Capricorn and this full moon very much rules the third initiation, which is the capacity to use your mind. The first initiation is all about mastery of the physical body. So that's purification, purging, yoga, all those things where you can wear like sexy lycra and, have your juices that you photograph for Instagram. It's all part of the, enlightenment process. And then there's the emotional initiation, where we're mastering all of those uncomfortabilities. And Capricorn is where we rise above the chitter and the chatter of the monkey mind. We don't get rid of those thoughts per se. Those thoughts are always there, but we elevate ourselves above them so that we can look at them. Just like when you climb a mountain, you come above the point of the clouds, and you can see that the clouds are just the clouds getting in the way of the good view, right? And then with the power of the mind, you can learn to let the clouds soften and become thinner and thinner and thinner. They're still kind of there, and if you focus on them, you're going to give them energy, and therefore they take power. So the magical power of Capricorn is that of manifestation. Capricorns are really good at making things happen. Capricorn ruled by, this is Saturn, right? This is like systems, structures, organization. And those structures and systems are essential if we want to be free. If I want to build a house and I have a fancy idea of having a house, I have to create some structures and systems by which this house can be built. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. It's just going to stay in the realm of thought. So we are magicians in the capacity to create thoughts that then can descend and can be impassioned with our feeling and can be communicated clearly in a way that they bring together the people that are needed to, and that then they can practically be worked out in the physical plane. So this is like, people who are good at administration, not just, Virgo types, quite often to kind of finance, admin, but really Capricorn type person or influenced by the seventh ray. This is like the administration. This is like, okay, this is who we're going to do it. It's not necessarily the doing of it, but it's the organizing. This is project management stuff, get your Gantt charts out or whatever, and then stick to the program, stick to the targets. And people like that who keep checking on whether these targets have been met, timely, can be regulated. But all of this creates societies, creates things on the planet. Without those type of structures and systems and levels of organization, we wouldn't have the economic systems that we have, the political systems, all of this. And this is what's having this upheaval at the moment because of the Pluto and Saturn conjunction back in January, destruction of all of these, death, but also rebirth, right? So we have to clear the structures. This is just like our house. We have to clear the walls if we want completely different organization of the walls. If we want a completely different house, we have to floor it and build something again. So whether that is, the structures and systems that rule our society or your remodeling project in your house. So right now it is hard because that death process has been going on this year, the ending of parts of the structures and systems that have been ruling our individual life, our relationships, and ultimately our societies. Capricorn is really looking to help society, in its highest aspect of it. It is the aspirant of working and striving to do the best by your society. Politicians in their purest sense, before power and greed and ambition get in the way, right? This is what we're talking about. So right now, we are at this point where we are coming onto our knees, this surrender of the ego, this, just to bring back our politician reference, this is like politician, striving to get to the top of the mountain purely from ambition, purely from the idea of who they are to achieve the most in the world that they possibly can, from that potential that they have. And this is kind of a really important thing to think about is, how much of your striving to do better and to improve yourself and to do as much as you possibly can with your life, fulfill whatever expectations, to even to give your gifts, to serve, to help others. How much of that is to do with your own identity of what it is to be successful? And how much of that is actually to do with societal good? Like, take money and power are kind of major factors in how we define whether people are successful, whether it's how much salary we earn, or how high we go up an institute, means that we've succeeded in life. But I think we've been over this, and money doesn't equal happiness, nor does our status up the ladder after we've reached a certain baseline, right? There is a baseline, and below that we're into poverty, and that does affect happiness. So where does the identity of what it is to succeed and to do the best that you can need to shift into, where can you serve the most for the greater good of the world? And right now, in this polarity between Capricorn and Cancer, you've not only got society, but you've also got the earth. So the earth, the environment, animals, plants, nature, is where we're striving for, in harmony with that balance with the earth that we're all made from, the ecosystems that we're all part of, nature, which, we are intrinsically one with. And within what's going on in the world right now, there is a lot of ego not wanting to die. And I don't mean like get coronavirus and die. I mean like identities are having to be flawed. And, even the foundations upon how we build society are at least being challenged. What we are thinking is normal is changing, as it should be. It's evolving, but we're all massively shifting collectively right now. And this place that we find ourselves right now, we have to be honest with ourselves. How much is my wanting to do something or achieve something for my own fame or fortune? Like, here I am on YouTube, right? I want to be as successful as I can. I feel disappointed if I don't reach millions of people and I haven't got 1,000 million likes. Is that a true reflection of where I'm serving? No, it's not. That it's the ego leading you down the idea of, to be successful, you have to look a certain way, you have to achieve a certain amount of things, you have to earn a certain amount of money, you have to live in a certain type of house. All of these things relate to an ego identity. Like, do we have to live in a world where, just a handful of people control most of the money? Do we have to do our education system like we've been doing it for, since the Industrial Revolution? Do we have to do our healthcare system in the way that we're doing the healthcare system? All of these are just ideas that came upon a couple of people at a time in the past and developed and were created. Right now, it's like, okay, guys, death, stop. How are we going to rebuild? And each one of you is here to do something different, right? So some of you will be working in the realm of economics. Others of you will be working in the realm of health and well-being. Some of you will be working in education or in administration. Some of you are literally working in civil service right now, and you're kind of in there trying to create change, or feeling this desire for things to shift and things to change. So we have to beware on the full moon, because the full moon is the representative of the lower self. We have to be really aware of those lower emotions arising. It's this ambition, this desire to be better, to achieve fame, fortune, success, la-di-da, immaterial success. Yeah, it's an earth sign. And then on the Cancer side, this overly emotional nature, which gets in the way of this ability to be a magician, which we all have as human beings. We are all able to create the lives that we want to live. And those lives do not look like everyone else. They work with other people, and we have to be really clear about who we want to work with. You know, these next signs are all about group work. We're moving from just me and another to me, to us, to a concept of us, which is what society is based upon. That's the foundations, is that there is an us, and then the greater us of humanity. Yeah. So we're going on this journey through the zodiac every year, from just me to my relationships to the group, although none of them can be truly separated. So this ability to create, this ability to be a magician is our birthright. Okay, it's what the human faculty is. It's the middle principle between the physical, the earth, and the spiritual. We are this fourth kingdom in the middle, you know, and we are able to receive abstract, intuitive concepts. We are able to use our rational brain, think, to be able to think for ourselves, not just what everyone else is telling us, to be able to question, but equally being humble and being centered from the heart, to unite our heart and our head truly, not just in some kind of weird metaphorical speech, right? To be able to link up a receiving of impressions, to creating ideas, to knowing that in your heart and in your gut, that this is what you need to express and communicate in the world. And the only way to do that is to be humble, is to be, you know, this sidetrack, but I'm going to go down it. There's so many people trying to trick us into thinking that, you know, the only way that you're going to get at the top of the mountain is to follow their path, you know, or pay me a certain amount of money to receive that information so that you are able to be all that you are, you know. And you have that innately in here, but the humility to say, oh, this concept I have about me, actually, I'm gonna surrender it now. I'm gonna let it go, and I'm going to allow what I need to be in. This is this metaphor in Capricorn of falling to our knees, surrendering. You know, there's no the ego of being right. You know, we are all wrong sometimes. You know, we are all right other times. I mean, and what even is wrong and right? So having the humility to drop to our knees and just say, you know, the more I know, the less I know. So in this full moon meditation that we're going to do this evening, or whenever you have time over the next 3 days, we're going to be really grounding ourselves into our physical nature, that earth, really rooting down and really trying to receive this through surrendering the ideas that we have, these notions of ourselves, these ideas of how we achieve, how we succeed, and receiving in the inspiration that we need at this time, to really feel in our hearts, to know what it is as this year ends, that we are letting go, we are surrendering, so that we can set our new course forwards for the greater good. of the world, Earth, humanity, life. So sitting up nice and straight. Talking of consummation, here I am in my rather echoey new studio, a first meditation here. I'm very excited. It feels very echoey and very bare, isn't it? I'll do something with this background for future videos. Watch the space. So sitting up nice and tall, your hands, palms down on your knees, sitting up nice and tall. Maybe just take a few movements into your body. This is your instrument. This is how your soul is able to experience and express. It's kind of a bit of a weird alien concept. You're actually a triplety, not just two parts, but we're going to focus on these two to start with. So how does your spine feel? How does your neck feel? And then lengthening up through the spine. Take a big inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. One more time. Relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your jaw, letting your spine grow up taller. Exhaling down the spine, send roots into the ground beneath you. Squeeze out at the bottom of the exhale. Inhale. Exhale, grow those roots deeper. Inhale, take in more air. Let the spine sit up taller, exhaling fully. Inhale completely in your own breath. Every time you exhale, grow those roots deeper. Feel your body part of the earth itself. As deep down into that earth as you can go. Inhale nice and tall. Exhale into that earth. Rising up now all the way up through the crown of your head. See if you can bring the breath all the way to the top of your lungs and open branches up above your head into the sky above you. Exhale back down into the ground beneath you. This is the polarity of Mother Earth to Father Sky. Big deep breaths, taking 10 or so in your own flow. As deep as you can allow the breath to be, as tall as you can allow those branches to grow, and as deep as those roots can get. Keeping that breath long and deep, 3 more. Fully exhale and let go. Fully inhale and restore. And then bringing your hands onto your belly. Maybe just give your belly a little rub. So here in your physical body, you have these resources. This body is your instrument, and just sending a little bit of gratitude to this body for all that enables you to do and experience and taste and see. To recognize its physicality and its mortality, its fragile existence in many ways, on one hand, and yet its power and its miraculousness of being able to exist at all. And what are the gifts that you have as an individual based upon your ancestry, your DNA, your skills that you've accumulated along this path, this life, all that you've learned from your lifetimes, and all that you are right now, all this potential. And this body that's your home. That desires to be nurtured and nourished physically, emotionally, mentally. And then bringing our gaze inwards and upwards to our third eye. This point at which the confluences of our dual life unite into one. We extend our awareness from this point between the brow up through our crown of our head into the infinite light of life above us, around us, within us, without us. That which is endless and timeless and whole. And feel that lightness, free from structures and systems and organization. Just the life and the light that is. Take a big inhale and exhale through your mouth. Bring one hand to your heart, leave one hand on your belly. Bring your tongue to the roof of your mouth as your gaze stays inwards and upwards to that point. Bringing down that light and bringing up that potential, bringing up to the heart, where that physical, emotional, mental potential reaches the heart. And that light and that life ignites at the heart all of that potential. Feeling the heart, breathing into that heart. Feel the magnetic force that guides, that creates some kind of coloration, field of influence that we can interpret and respond to from this unstructured realm of life and light above us. at this place where we can forgive and we can love, where we can hold all of our past and all of our future, where we can hold those others in our life, those others in the world, with loving respect, mutual appreciation, where we can take each other as souls, free from the story of who they are, what they've done. Or we can look at the world around us, free from what we've been told it should be. Where we can see the sunrise on a new day. Bringing that sunrise into your heart and seeing this blue morning sky with warm orange and pink light. That is yours for the taking, is yours for the living. And with our gaze upwards, understanding and knowing what we have to let go of. With love and forgiveness and gratitude even. But looking towards that sunrise, that day that you can live as you're truly meant to live. Where that life that inspires you, guides you through the magnetic force of the soul, that reshapes your identity and your beliefs and your habits and your network and those you work with and where you live and how you make your home. This is the new day to make it yours, to shine your light, to love fiercely and boldly, and to forgive in equal measure. Fully accepting all of who we are and what we've been through as an individual in our relationships and as a whole. This is your magical instrument. What are you going to make in your world? What magic are you going to create? Whose lives are you going to touch? How are you going to send ripples of hope, of goodwill? And those visions, make them simple. Make them feel good. Let go of those desires. That your upbringing, that your society has given you, and create your own. Connecting to the center of intuition and light, just bringing your awareness to your head and that brow center. And down to your belly, your gut instinct, this wisdom of the body, where the body knows. our capacity to create thoughts and rise above the other ones. And then to your heart, your consciousness, your awareness of this duality, your spiritual and your physical self. Bringing the two together in your heart. And sending that love and that forgiveness and that humility out into the world. May we all accept who we are and where we need to go. Letting go of where we've been and creating this new day, this new world. Together. Sounding Om 3 times or listening. Inhale and exhale. Just coming through in your own time. See how your body feels. A few stretches. Be gentle with yourself. So, I hope this year is your year for being you, just you. Living your life as it feels that you need and desire to live. Until the next new moon, namaste.